Alright. Let's get it going here, people. We're gonna do a quick little run through of Escape Room Quest Part 2. If you have not played Part 1, I would highly recommend playing that first. I would say this one's a little bit harder than the first one, and it kind of builds off the groundwork we laid in the first one, but this is a standalone expansion, so you can play it completely without playing the other one. Right away, there's going to be 4 temples. The only one you can go into is the Wind Temple. If you come back, this is a rather long map. You can skip to any of the levels you want, so if you want to skip to level 4 or level 3 or level 2, you can. So don't feel pressured to have to beat the map in one go. But right away, the first dungeon is going to be the Wind Ship. It's kind of going to have this little pirate ship theme going on, which I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but it turned out rather nice. I like the way it looked. First things first, though, you're going to want to hit this block right there, so it falls and activates this pressure plate. That will open the little door. We're going to gain control over the fan now, so we're going to be able to spin this fan. Now you're able to spin the fan and stop it, which is going to be important. First things first, though, we're going to want to spin it right to here. We'll stop it. Now this fan is blowing wind, and we can actually use it to propel ourselves towards this diamond. This is a diamond that you're going to see throughout the map in pretty much all of the dungeons. Yeah, all of the dungeons have that, and those are activated by any type of damage. So if we hit that diamond, it opens the door. Now we're going to want to re-spin the fan one more time. It's going to start spinning around, and this time we're going to need it to blow us across, and we're going to be able to get this key. Alrighty. Now there's nothing over here right now. There's a fire room, and we're going to come back to that momentarily. Take this key, no way to get back across, we're just going to have to jump in. And you got a choice here. You can open the left door or the right door. And, you know, I'm feeling spicy today, so I'm going to open up the left door. We got a cannon. We're going to bring this over here. And if you were paying a little bit of attention, you probably noticed that there was a giant boulder blocking this door. And with a big old cannonball, we're going to be able to blast right through that. Now, there's nothing we can do in this room right now, so we're going to turn this cannon over here. And if I shoot myself up here, I'm going to notice there is a fan that I can turn on and off. But if I look up here, I'm going to notice there's a rock blocking blocking this passageway. And if I turn the wind on and I try to fly up there, it's blocked. But we know that the cannon destroys rocks. So if you come down here, you position the cannon just right in this corner, so you have a shot on that rock, you'll be able to blow that wide open. Now I'm going to have to shoot myself back up there again. Man, bro, what? My cannon's just rolling away. Get back over here, cannon. Now we should be able to fly up there with this windpipe. And we'll get a second key. Cruise back down. And we will be able to open the other door. That'll get us, surprise, surprise, a second cannon, which we'll bring back into this room. And now we have everything we need to complete this room. Now this is a pressure plate, just like the one we saw that block land on. So if we put something that weighs a substantial amount, like a cannon on it, it will turn that torch on. But we're going to need 2 of them, 1 for each pressure plate. Let's pop this one on right here, and that will open the gate. Now you're going to get your first item of the game, the boomerang. And we're going to take this boomerang back over to the room with the torches. Now if you hit one of these torches, it will go out. So if you hit a torch, it will go out. But it'll come back on right away. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put yourselves on one of these 2 platforms. You can go to either side. And if you throw the boomerang across the torches, will put all of them out at once. You kind of need to line up the right little angle, and then it will put out all of the torches, and that will open the door. Fun little use of the boomerang there. And that is the end of the first dungeon in the game, the wind ship. It's a short one, sweet, but I think there's some good puzzles in that one, so good first dungeon. On to the second dungeon of the game, the Shadow Temple. First things first, we're going to have a lot of different options of where we want to go for the Shadow Temple, but you're going to go right first. And if you turn around, up on the ceiling, there is a diamond. If you hit that, it will open the gate. Don't be intimidated by the fierce noises. There's a couple zombies down there, but they're just doing their thing. Don't pay any attention to them. You're going to come across this ritualistic fire pit down here. And if you turn it on, it's going to flash different colors. The color is going to be green. It's going to go to the blue, the red, the purple, and finally it's going to end with yellow. Now you might not know what this means right away, but if we go over to this other section of the dungeon, we will start to figure things out a little bit. Start cruising on over this way. Now in this room there's going to be 5 torches, and each one of them is a different color. Now if we remember that color pattern, green, we're going to need to light them in this order. So it's going to be green, then blue. And you're also kind of going to need to memorize where they are. So it might take a little bit of memorization. We got red, and then purple. And finally, to open the door, we have yellow. This puzzle seems a little familiar. There was one pretty similar to it in the first map, in the fire dungeon. So yeah. First thing you're going to notice in this room is there is a dial here, and when you turn it, it will actually rotate this strange X on the ceiling. There's nothing you can really do with that right now, but just keep that in mind for later on. Now, this puzzle we are going to be able to complete right now, and this is a very interesting puzzle. Now, when you hit one of the diamonds, so for example, let's say I hit this center diamond, it's going to light up all of the diamonds that are connected to it by one of these little lines. So it's going to hit the middle one and the 2 ones on the edge. Now if I hit it again, it's going to turn all of those off. So when you hit a diamond, all of the diamonds that it's connected to will change their state. So if the diamond, for example, if I hit this one, this diamond is now on. So when I hit this diamond, it's going to turn this one off, and it's going to turn this one on. So we'll just change its state. So if it's on, it will turn it off. If it's on, it will turn, or if it's off, it will turn it on. So now when I hit this one, these 2 go on, and this one goes off. Now your goal is to get all of the diamonds to light up at the same time. Now, there's a white one on the ceiling, which if you hit, it will reset back to the original state. Now the easiest way to do this puzzle is to hit one corner. Alright, you got 3. Then you're going to hit the opposite corner. You got 2 groups of 3. Then you're going to hit the middle corner and the other middle corner. And then you're going to hit the middle one. And that will light up all of the diamonds in 5 nice and easy strokes. Yeah, that's a tricky puzzle, so if you get stuck on that, I totally get it. It's honestly a tough one. It's pretty tough. But we are going to get that grapple hook, and with that grapple hook, you're able to attach yourselves to these targets here. And I'm sure if you were looking around, you will have noticed that there is a big old target over here in this room. So if you go ahead and you attach yourself to that, and you do kind of need to hold in when you're attached to the target. You need to reel yourself in. If you just sit there, you won't really get pulled to the target properly. So just keep that in mind. Now, when you're sitting on this throne, you'll notice these strange orange platforms over there. And when you hop off it, they're not there. So they're invisible platforms, but you can see them from the throne. So you have to keep those in mind. And there's a hatch in the ceiling up there, which we're going to need to get to. So if you hop on top of this torch, and then you mantle up, and mantle up right here, you'll be able to walk across to the key. You'll get that small key in, and you can cruise on over to unlock the door. And if you notice in the top left hand of the screen, there are all of the items that you currently have. So right now I have a small key in my inventory, It just shows up there, and it will give the description of all of the items that I have. So I have a boomerang, and I have a grapple hook, and it'll kind of give you a little bit of a clue on how to use that item. Because if you're not familiar with Fortnite, let's say you don't play Battle Royale like crazy, you might not know exactly how to use the item. So for the grapple hook, it says shoot through small spaces. This grapple hook is able to shoot through these small spaces. Now that we hit this diamond, the entire cylinder room is now spinning. This platform is spinning, but it's going left. Now if we hop on this platform to go left, we're not going to be able to go anywhere. We're just going to get hit by this. So we're going to have to go around back to the room we just unlocked. And that room is connected to that central cylinder room. And since the platform is spinning left, we're going to be able to use it to traverse this room a little bit. So now we don't run into any grates here. We'll be able to get over to this room. You come to this room, fantastic. There's another locked door, but we now have the ability to send the platform to the right. So if we hit this diamond, the platform is now going to the right, like so. But now if I come right here, I'm going to get hit by this and fall off. That's okay. We'll just come back over here. So now we will be able to ride this platform to the right and access this room. Go across this chain. There's going to be this little tunnel here, and when you go inside the tunnel, you're going to start taking damage, and you do not have enough health to make it all the way across. But what you do have is this pit of zombies down here. And if you ever played a zombie map in Fortnite, you'll know that when you eliminate a zombie, you gain health. So you're going to need to kill enough of these zombies to gain max shield, which shouldn't take that long because you only have 25 shield. But if you take these zombie friends out here, they will help you get across the little tunnel of doom. And they're all just having a party down there, you know, doing their thing. They're having a great old time, you know. They're happy to help. And then with that increased health, you will be able to cruise on through. Just barely, though. You'll barely be able to make it through. And we'll gain another key, which we'll be able to use at that door. A quick little reminder here, though. Make sure you flip the platforms back going left, because right now they're going right, and we're not going to be able to get to that door that has the lock on it if we go that way. Now, one thing I want to point out here is this X can move, and we're going to want to set that in a specific place. We're going to want to set it right here, and I'm going to show you why we're going to want to do that in 1 second. I'm just setting this up early so I don't have to come back. Stop that right there on the blue mark, nice and easy, and we'll come back to that momentarily. Hop on the little platform here, go back to that room that has the key door, and we'll use our small key on it. Beautiful. Now, I showed you had to move that X up there earlier, and this is the reason. You're going to need to use that X to get across, because normally there's no way to get across this gap. There's no way to jump that. But since we went to the room above it and we moved that X with the dial, we'll now be able to grapple to it and swing across the gap. So you got to make sure that's in the correct position. And that is the second dungeon in the game, the Shadow Temple. Halfway there. Now on to my personal favorite dungeon in the game, the Ice Temple, which is kind of funny because the Water Temple was my favorite from the last game as well. So I've got something going here where the third temple is always my favorite. Now, first things first, there is going to be a grapple plate on this room. You'll be able to jump up onto this one, and then you'll be able to shoot and attach to this one, which will get you up to here. Now, if you mantle up here, you'll be like, oh, whoa, what's in here? There's, there's nothing in here. Sheesh, what'd I do all that for? But if you notice this piece of ice on the ground, there's no way to break that with your boomerang or your tow hook. But if you jump onto it, use a little gravity, you will be able to break through it. Now you can swim through that water just by jumping and sliding under it, and you'll come into this little cave room here. you're going to have access to this switch, which when you turn it, is going to make those icicles go down, and you have the ability to turn it back on. So those icicles go up, those icicles go down, and we're going to need those icicles down to hit that little diamond in there. Now, those icicles go down, but when those icicles go down, these icicles go up. So now I'm not able to get back into that room, and I can't hit the diamond from here. So I'm going to have to go all the way around to the other side of the dungeon here. Nothing we can do in this room right now. We'll have to come back to it. And if we see this little passage here, we're going to have a shot lined up for the diamond. We can hit that, and that will open the door. We're going to have to go back over to that room now. And we are going to need to flip that switch again in the water room to make sure those icicles go back down so we can get into that room. And I just want to make sure you keep in mind that these icicles can go up and down, because they will be an important part in figuring out the dungeon later on. Alright, we're in here. There's that spot where the diamond was. That's where we shot it from. There's the little room we were in. And do note that there is a locked door up there. Now, next part, we're going to want to come into this room. And if you turn this switch on, it's going to start shooting off rockets. And these rockets bounce off of these platforms here. So we're going to need to rotate these into the correct position. I'm going to turn that off for a moment because that rocket is ridiculously annoying to listen to. Now we're going to need to get one rocket to hit this cube right here. And we're going to need to get one rocket to hit this cube right here. But right now, this platform is covered in ice, so we can't turn it. So this one we can't do right now. We're going to come back to that. But we are 100% able to get the rocket to hit this diamond right there. So that's the first one we're going to want to do. And just a tip, only one of these can be rotating at a time for performance issues, because it will actually crash the game if more than one is rotating. So when you turn a different one on, it will stop all of the other ones. So if you're trying to do this with multiple people, if you have a squad of 4, make sure you're only rotating one at a time, just so people aren't getting frustrated that their thing keeps stopping. Now we're going to want to rotate this, and I do recommend you have the rocket on while you're setting this, so you can kind of see the trajectory, see the angles lining up. So that's going to be a hit for that one. We'll shut this off for now, just so you don't have to listen to it. And that unlocks the key door. Nice little small key. Now keep in mind we still have this door, which will be unlocked by this, but we're going to have to come back to that, because currently we do not have a way to break the ice. Now that we have that key, we're going to go this way. You could go back the other way, but we're going to go this way just because it works out. And if you look up right here, there's a diamond. Damage that, and all of these gates will open. Now you kind of have a central access point to the dungeon. We're going to open up this door. This unlocks us the good old ice block, a classic in the ice dungeons. And we're going to slide that ice block around. Now, we're going to need to get this ice block to a couple key locations to access things. But first, we're going to want to bring it this way. And we're going to want to bring it back to the room that has the 2 blocks on the ceiling, right near the front of the dungeon. It's kind of a little maze, shuffling this block around. Slow and steady. But once we get into here, we're going to push it this way, and the ice block will always slide to the end of a point. So it's on ice, so we'll keep sliding until it hits something and meets resistance. So we'll stop right here. But that will give us the ability to come up into this section, which is nice. First thing, I'm going to push this little block down here. So now we have a way to get back up here without that block being there. So now we no longer need that block here. But what we can do is we can turn these switches on, and these blocks will start moving. And there's one switch for each block. And what you can actually do is hop on top of these blocks to come over and get this key chest. We'll get another key, which is dope. Now that's all we need to do in this room for right now. We'll come back to that though. Now, if you've been looking around the dungeon, there is one spot that we can use this key. And the spot that we can use this key is actually in a very interesting spot. It is on the 2nd floor, so we're going to need this block to get up to it. And it's in this room right here, so let me show you. That's the spot right there. So we need to get up to that somehow, but there's no way to get up there. Now, if we push the block, it's not going to stop there. It's just going to slide straight through. And it's like, well, we can't get up there if the block's just cruising on by. So we're going to want to push the block back. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to put those icicles back up. Because if you remember, I said that the ice block will slide until it hits something. So if it hits those icicles right there, it will stop its momentum and it will be right where we want it to. We're going to have to go back around this way because those icicles are unfortunately up right now. Now we should be able to push the block and it's going to stop right where we want it to. Now, if you forgot that those icicles go up and down, this could be a really, really tricky part of the dungeon. Honestly, the hardest puzzle in the dungeon, I'd say, if you forget that. Because that's a tricky thing to remember. But that will open us up into here, where we gain the explosive. Now, you might have a couple ideas of what you can do with this explosive, but the first thing you're going to want to do is blow up this chunk of ice. Now we have access to rotate this platform, which will give us the ability to blow that up. Now we're going to want to adjust things a little bit differently though. We can keep this one pointed here, but we're going to want this one to bounce to here. We're going to want this one to kind of bounce to this one. And we're kind of going to need this one to bounce it to that one. And this can be a little tricky to line up. You need everything to be perfect, so it might be a little off right now. We'll have to maybe readjust. Let's take a look. Okay, that one's a little bit pointed into the wall. Readjust. Alright, let's see, maybe readjust this one a little bit. Alright, looks pretty close. Seems like it was hitting the side. Okay. A little bit too aggressive there. Let's see if that helps. Perfect. So you just have to do those little micro adjustments, see where the rocket's going, give them adjustments, and get it over that target. And that, I do have to say, it's pretty hard to figure out how to bounce it, because I mean it takes a lot to figure out these angles, because these aren't like a standard 90-degree angle that it bounces off of. It bounces off at a really weird angle, so it is kind of hard to see what's going on. But right there, we just sent this block down the river, and if we look at the block, it's floating, and we can follow it and be like, whoa, where's this block going? Let's find out. But the block floats through here. And if we notice, there is a diamond right down here, and we can't get to the diamond because it's under ice. But that block goes right next to the diamond, and if you look at the explosive up in the top left, it says damage objects and attach to surfaces. So we're going to be able to attach this C4 onto the block, but we can't do it from here because it's blocked off. So we're going to need to attach that from right over here where the block is open to us. Throw a C4 on it, throw 2 for good measure, well, or not. Now we'll bring that over here, wait for it to get right above the diamond, and blow that bad boy up. Now that will open this door for us, but before we go in there, I just want to take a moment to look in this room, where we're going to have another one of those icy floors. Now, from previous experience, we're going to know that to break an icy floor, we need to jump from a high height. And if we look, there is a chamber up here, but how do we get up there? Not sure. So there's this icy floor, we're going to need to get up there somehow, and we'll figure that out as it comes. When we come to this area, first thing we're going to see is a locked door. That's no fun. But we're also going to see this little chamber with some water, and it's attached to this room. Now if you swim around this room a little bit, you'll notice there's a diamond in here. And if you hit that diamond, the water level will raise. But an important thing to notice is the water level is not only raising in this room, it is also raising in the room adjacent to us. So now if we lower this back down, we'll see, look, the water is lowering and it's raising. Now, with this raising water, we'll have the ability to get back, or to get into that top chamber of the other room. But we're also going to need to be able to lower the water back down. So I'm going to throw a C4 on this block for now. And if you're playing with a group of people, you don't necessarily need to do this with the C4, but if you're playing by yourself, you have to do this. I'm going to come outside the room, and I'm going to hit this diamond from right here. So this water raises up. Alright, it's at the top level. Let's go back on over to this room. And I do want to stress that if you're playing this map solo, it is objectively harder than if you're playing it with a group, just because some of the puzzles can be bypassed with a group. Now, I could jump onto this ice from here, but only if the water was lowered. And I have a way out of the room right here. I can get out of the room if I need to. And, I mean, I'm looking at this, and because I placed that C4 on the diamond earlier, I'm able to detonate it, and that will cause the water to go back down. So now we have the ability to jump and get this key to open the final door. Pop that door open, and we'll go down this way. Blow that open. We'll now notice that we have 3 pressure plates in the ice dungeon, and we're going to need to get an ice block on each of these 3 pressure plates. The first one we're going to do is we're going to do these 2. If you... Shucks, I missed. If you hit a chain while the block is moving, it will fall, and it will fall wherever it is. So if you hit it right here, the block will fall right there. You have the ability to reset these with the switch, so that will reset it to the default position, and then you can turn it back on. So we can wait for this one to get right above that and boomerang it down. Nice. So now we got 2 blocks, and for the third one, we're going to need to get that big old chunky boy that slides around the dungeon. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's right over here. Yep, he sure is. Excellent. Push that guy through the icicles, and we're going to go back around. Go back around. So the ice temple is a lot of navigating. You really need to understand the layout of the dungeon and what is going on. There's some really tough puzzles. That puzzle with raising and lowering the water, that's really tricky. Same with the section getting the key, or getting the block to stop next to that door. That's pretty tough too. I think for those reasons, it's my favorite dungeon. Now we got all 3 of these blocks on the platform, which will light all 3 of these torches, and the door is now open. That is the end of the ice temple. And we'll be moving on to the 4th and final dungeon, the Palace of Recollections. Now, the Palace of Recollections is an interesting dungeon, as it doesn't really have its own theme. It kind of does. It's got this like White Castle theme going on, but it is actually a combination of all of the dungeons that we have played so far in the first 2 maps. So if this doesn't look familiar, but this is from the fire dungeon in the first map. Now right away, if we notice, there's 2 dragons on the wall here, and if they see you, you'll get teleported back. So if either one of these guys sees you, you'll get teleported back. Now on this side, we have a block that we can raise up, and if you put that in front of the dragon's eyes, he will no longer be able to see you. But on this side, we just have this cheesy little grate, and if you raise that up, it doesn't really do anything. So we're going to have to come back to that later, but keep that in mind. In the forest temple over here, there's not a whole lot going on, also from the first map. But if you hit this lily pad, you'll be able to bounce up here, and there's a strange opening. Just keep that in mind as well. Nothing we can do with either of those quite yet. What we are going to be able to do, though, is in this room, if we look up at the ceiling, there's going to be a diamond, and if you try to shoot that with your grapple hook, it's not going to be able to hit it. It's going to get stuck. Same thing with the C4. So we're going to need to throw the boomerang up and come back around, and that will be able to hit the diamond there and open the door. Nice and easy. Now you have 3 options. You can go into the Shadow Temple, the Wind Temple, or the Ice Temple. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to the Ice Temple, though, where once again we have Mr. Block. He's going to be rejoining us, and when you push this block, just like in the Ice Temple, it will slide until it hits a surface. So it's going to slide all the way across. And we're going to need to get this block onto that pressure plate. But not only are we going to need to get it on the pressure plate, we're going to need to get it to stop on the pressure plate. Now to do that, we're going to want to push the block around all the way down into this little corner here. Get it to stop right here, because now we are able to shoot it to there. Let's push it that way. Alright, perfect. Now we can hit it into this wall, and we'll hit it right into that wall. and it will stop on that pressure plate, opening us a door. We're going to turn this switch on, and that is going to have this block start moving. It's going to start moving back and forth, and I'm just going to leave that on so it's moving, and we're going to go back over to the forest temple, because that little chute we saw earlier connects into that room. Bounce on up there. And if I get my C4 out, I'll be able to throw one on there. You could obviously stop the block in front of this window, and I'm gonna wait for it right about there. Much easier to not time it like that, just to stop it and go back and watch, but we just essentially damaged that diamond with the C4. Now here, I did include a little damage and move objects with speed boost note because I didn't want people to miss that, because that is incredibly crucial. But we're going to gain a Falcon Scout right here, and that Falcon Scout is going to be very important to completing the dungeon. We've got that nice, good old Falcon Scout. First thing we're going to want to do with that is take it over to the Shadow Temple, or the section of the Shadow Temple here. And we're going to be able to fly that Falcon on up into this little hole. And that will get us over into this little area of the Water Temple. And if you notice, it says damage and move objects with speed boost. So if I use my left stick here to speed boost, I can damage and move objects. And that opened this door for me. Now that we're next to the Water Temple, you're going to want to get under this platform, not above, because getting above it does not do anything. Get under this little ledge here, swim on through, and we will come on up into the top area of the Water Temple. Ball over here. This ball is going to be essentially the key to solving the entire dungeon. Pretty much every room in the dungeon requires this ball to some degree. Whether it's small or large, we'll figure that out, but to some degree we're going to need this ball. Now, if you look under the water, there's a rock down there, and there's an arrow pointing to the rock. And we know that C4 destroys rocks, but there's no way, shucks, whatever. There's no way to get a C4 down there. If we blow it up, it will just float on the water. We're going to need to go respawn that ball, because I did not mean to knock that in. Grab that ball, but we did just notice right there that the ball does sink through the water. When the ball hits the water, it goes straight to the bottom, crashes in. So if we attach a C4 to that, and we push the ball down there, just so it's next to that rock a little bit, we'll be able to blow it up, and that'll open up a drain, which will flood all the water out. Now, don't forget this ball, because you're going to need this ball for the rest of the dungeon. I'm going to bring this over here. I'll put this ball on this little platform. Take note, there is a strange passageway there. We'll come back to that. And my ball fell off. Let's bring it back down. Bring it back down. Alright. Looking better. My ball's a little happy. He's doing his happy dance. Push this guy over here. Now, you can take this ball pretty much anywhere you want right away. You can do something with it in just about every room. But the first room we're going to want to do something in is going to be, we'll do this room. Let's do this room. Might as well over here. You can do this in any order. So if you're watching this and you're like, yo, I haven't done that yet, that's totally fine. You can do things in different orders. But you are able to stand on top of the ball. So if you hop on top of the ball here, you're able to jump up. I don't know why I'm lagging so bad, but just hop up on top of this. I'm going to flip this switch, and that is going to drop this block, so now we don't need that ball anymore. Right here, there's going to be 4 torches on the wall with these strange circles around them, and this is going to be the exit to the dungeon, so we'll keep that in mind later. That's really all we need to do here for right now. We'll just leave that blocks right there, looking good, and we'll grab our ball and bring it back over this way. Now, those white circles around the torches in that room might look familiar to you, because those are actually located all around the dungeon. The first one, and the most obvious one, is going to be right by the main entrance where you came in, and if if we bring that ball over there and we put it onto that little plate, we're going to get one of those torches to light up. So we lit up one of the 4 torches just by putting that ball on there. So we're going to need to find the other 3 circles to put this ball on to get out of the dungeon. Now, the next spot that I'm going to go is going to be right over here into the wind ship. And if you ever lose your ball, you can go back and respawn it where you got it. We're going to need to get it into here at some point, but it seems like we can't get it in there right now, so let's just give that a rain check. What we can do, though, is if we come over to this area, there's this fan that blows us back. But anytime you see these white arrows, that's a good indicator that you're probably going to need the big ball. I'm going to attach a C4 onto this ball for reasons that you will see shortly. And this ball is not affected by the wind, so I'm just going to shoot that in there. And the Falcon Scout has the ability to move the ball with that speed boost ability, damage and move objects. Don't want to knock the ball back now. And we need this C4 to blow this rock up right here, because the Falcon Scout cannot go through a rock. Can't break a rock, can't go through a rock, has nothing to do with rocks whatsoever. We're going to cruise right over there. Alright, we got that C4 right there. We can now blow it up. And once you blow that rock up, it will actually disable the fan, just so it's easy to get over here. So you don't have to get your ball back with the Falcon Scout. Not super important though. Get the Falcon right over here. And then we have the ability to damage this. And that will open the door. And we'll bring that ball over there, because why not? I'm going to bring this ball in this little red area. Now if you come into this area, you're going to notice that we are below that dragon statue. And that dragon was what was teleporting us back earlier. And now we have a ball. And like I said, the ball is a jack of all trades. You can do just about anything with that ball. So I'm going to lower this platform back down, which I wish I would have done earlier, because I'm going to have to go back over there now. But we will lower that platform back down. Nice and easy. I'm just going to fly my Falcon Scout over there, because that's a hell of a lot faster. And I'm going to push that ball onto that platform there. Nice and easy. And we'll raise that up. Perfect. Now the ball is blocking the dragon's view, and the block is blocking the dragon's view on that side. So we'll be good to cruise on over and get that key. I'm going to lower that back down just so the ball is easily accessible, because we're still going to need that. And we're going to go back and grab our ball. Now we have a couple places we can go with this small key, and I'm actually not going to open that door first, just because I find that's a little bit harder. We're going to do that last. So we'll take this ball over this way. And we'll just leave the ball right there for now. But we are going to open this door first. This door just, it just seems a little bit, makes more sense to do this one first. Unlock the ice door, and we're gonna notice we have another one of those circles that we can try to get the ball to. But there's no way we're gonna be able to get the ball up this sheer cliff face. But what we can do is, if we notice there is a little ramp right over here that brings it up to this level, we can push this block right over into this position, and now we can bring that ball around, and we'll be able to kind of push it on top of the block and onto that little glass platform there. Bring this guy around. Into the remnants of the desert temple from Escape Quest 1. Shout out, make sure if you are at this part of the map and you have not played the first map, definitely make sure you go check that one out after, because that one's pretty good too. Push that over. You do not have to worry about the ball falling off the ice platform. It is impossible to knock it off. Push this block over here. Now we're going to need to get the block all the way around and over to right here, so we can push it onto the platform. Bring this guy back around one more time. I had fun making this little block slide puzzle. It's a fun one. Hope you guys like it as well. Knock that dude over. Push that guy right there. And that will be our second of the 4 torches. Now, we're going to bring this ball back on over to the Shadow Temple area, and we'll do that one next. Hop up on top of that guy. Nice and easy. Now we'll have this elevator right here, which with this switch we're able to make it go down. And it goes down rather slowly. And we'll come into this lower area of the dungeon, where we will have another spot to put the ball. Now the issue is, it's going to be kind of tricky to get the ball down here. And I'll show you why. Come back up here. Slow and steady. And the ball cannot get into here easily. There's no way to get the ball through this when it's up. So when the elevator is up, there's no way to get the ball in. And if we lower it down, the ball can come in. But now the ball is stuck on top of the elevator, and we need to get the ball underneath the elevator. So we're kind of faced with a little problem here. Now, if you get stuck down, you can mantle back up. But it's apparently the farthest jump in the world. Nice and easy. Now we can bring the ball back up, but then the ball is just going to be stuck on top of the elevator, and we can't get the elevator through this opening right here. That's too big. But what we can do is we can fit the ball up right here, and then we can push it into this little corridor. Like that, nice and easy. Now I'm going to lower that back down. I'm going to put myself in it, actually. That's nice and easy. I could have just gotten in there with the ball. That would have worked out good too, but I didn't. And we can raise this back up. And I'll go get it with the Falcon Scout. And now we will have gotten the ball underneath the elevator. Booyah. And we'll push this ball over on to the 3rd circle. That will be 3 out of the 4 torches done. Now, while we're right here, I want to take a look at this room, just to keep this in mind. We're going to have this little access into this water temple area, and this will raise a platform up and down. And we'll come back to that in a moment. that will be used to get the 4th circle activated. Now once you have this ball, we're going to be able to bring it back up in the elevator. Signal the elevator to come down. And make sure the elevator does not crush the ball, because when it crushes the ball, it could lag it through the floor. And the elevator will have opened up its other side after we got that circle, so it's easy to get the ball up. Throw that ball in there. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Hop back up. This guy's doing his little happy dance. Now, finally, we're going to need to bring the ball back over to the winship in a second. But before we do that, we're going to need to get one more key. The final key of the map, the final key of the dungeon. And it's all going to be about solving this little number code. We got 3 numbers here. They range from 0 to 9. And we're going to need to find that number pattern. And the way we do this is if we look up on the ceiling here in the desert room, there's going to be there's some strange stuff on the ceiling. So if you go take a look at that, there's these arrows pointing down. And you're like, well, what exactly does that mean? But if you look down with the Falcon Scout, get a bird's eye view here, you're going to see the numbers 7, 3, 5. And that is going to be the code for the combination lock here. And those are actually just the walls right there. And from a grounds perspective, it's kind of hard to tell that those are numbers. So you're going to need that bird's eye view, get up there with the Falcon Scout, really see what is going on. And you can then enter the combination here, 7 for the yellow here, and then it's going to be 3 for the red. Move on to 3. 1, 2, 3. And finally it's going to be 5 for the green. And that will pop the doors open. And that will get us our key, the second key of the dungeon, the last key of the map. I'll open up the door in the winship. Bring this ball back on over. In the home stretch here, finally. This will open up this door, which we will then push the ball down. Pop that guy in there. Shoo. Now the ball is down there, and if you remember where that is, it's actually kind of right over by the water temple. Cruise down over here. Lower that down where we're at. So we got the ball right here. If we follow these arrows, we'll push the ball all the way over there. Nice and easy. It's in a good spot. Leave it there. Go back up. Now we're going to have to go back around and down into the shadow realm. Take this elevator back down. Ever so slowly. Excellent. Now we'll be able to shoot that ball onto that platform finally. And with this switch, we'll be able to raise it up. And we'll follow that ball all the way back to the winship. Cruise on along here. Back to the winship. There's that chain right in here with that platform and the ball on top of it. And if we come right over here, there's going to be a nice little nook for our Falcon Scout to go in. Fly it up here. We've got our ball. Push that ball. And booyah. Opens up the final door. Whew. It's a long map, isn't it, guys? It was, it's definitely a longer, I'd say it's a longer map than the first one. Just by a little bit, maybe. That's it's a little tougher too, but let me know what you guys thought of it. Let me know if you thought anything was too hard, or let me know what you liked. But that is the end of the map. A little note from me there, a little reference to the Zelda there with the Master Sword. But that is all. Anyone who made it this far on the map, honestly, I'm super impressed. This is by far the hardest map I've ever made, and there's only gonna be more fun stuff coming soon, guys. So that's honestly all from me. Until next time, peace.